Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I am Chad. I'm the Reseller Rockefeller. Today is Sunday. I think it is May the 12th. Today we're going to be talking about numerous different things regarding reselling. Basically, I have about a 20-minute drive, and I figured why not? Let's make a video. Today, I got the opportunity to go check out a full-blown reselling business. The guy's name is Jeff. He watches my channel. He is a local reseller. He actually lives in Ocala, Florida, which is just about 30-40 minutes south of Gainesville. He has a big warehouse, and he mainly does wholesale stuff, basically. He buys wholesale pallets. He does it all when it comes down to buying in bulk. So I went down there. He contacted me probably a week ago, and we've spoke numerous times on the phone. And then eventually he offered, to let me come down, take a look at, his operation, meet him, talk to him, and it was really, really fun. It was new. I love just seeing how different resellers operate and how different resellers go about conducting business. And it was an all-around amazing time. He did not really want me to film, so my plan was to go down there and do a full video and like a mini interview. But he was just extremely camera shy, which I completely understand it. And he just doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to be recorded. So anyways, I basically got down there this morning at about 8 o'clock, and it is almost 4 o'clock, and I'm leaving. So I got the opportunity to spend quite some time there. We talked about all kinds of different things, but the main thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the difference between his business and my business. What sets us apart, and I also want to, kind of talk about a few things that me and Jeff talked about, right? Which is one of the first things that we can start with is the amount of, money that he's making versus the amount of money that I'm making compared to, the size of my business and the size of his business. So to give you a little bit of detail, like regarding his business, he has a warehouse. I think he told me it was 1,500 square feet, which really isn't that big. But he has 4 employees. It's him, his wife, and then 2 other people. So there's 4 people that work there all together. They do wholesale liquidation type stuff, or that's what they buy, and then they sell those items on eBay and Amazon. Now, they don't buy, $1 million worth of stuff. It's not that big of a business, but they definitely spend quite a bit of money on inventory. We didn't really get into the logistics. We didn't really get into exactly how much his profit margins were and things of that nature. But we did talk briefly about just in general how much he's making on, Amazon and how much he's making on eBay and things of that nature. But the one thing that kind of, makes me think and makes me wonder is, we talked a lot about it too. So, I'm definitely not going to sit here and talk about stuff that like me and Jeff didn't talk about, or, things that he wouldn't want me to talk about. And by no means am I ever going to, talk badly about his business or his operation. He is doing a great job. He is super successful, and he got exactly what he wants, and he's doing exactly what he wants to do in a sense. And we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But the one thing that I kind of want to talk about is the difference between my business and his business, right? So he has a warehouse, he has employees, he buys and sells wholesale items, like I said. So he's constantly dealing in lots of new merchandise, just random items. I mean, it can go from, you know, towels to clothing, toys, you know, medicines and vitamins, and I mean, it you know, pots and pans and household items. I mean, the variety of the kinds of items that he deals in is pretty large, right? He doesn't deal in hardly anything that is used. If it's used, he doesn't even mess with it. You know, it's just not his thing. But the one thing that kind of caught me off guard is he got into reselling about 4 years ago. He's been full-time now for 2.5 years to 3 years is what he said. He got into reselling 4 years ago because he loved vintage toys. And that's how he got into reselling. So he started to go to garage sales and estate sales, and he started to buy, you know, vintage toys. Then he started to watch YouTube videos, and he started to watch, you know, a few select resellers on social media. And the resellers that he started to watch was all resellers other than myself. He watches me, but other than myself, most of the resellers that he watches is the kind of reseller that is doing exactly what he's doing today, right? And that's the whole reason that I'm making this video. He said that, you know, he really misses the old way of reselling, right? He misses, you know, going to garage sales. He misses going to estate sales. And, you know, he misses the treasure hunt. He misses, you know, finding really cool vintage toys and, you know, being a part of that whole, you know, lifestyle of, you know, when you're a reseller and you're buying and selling like antiques, when I get a extremely cool item that is, you know, super, super rare and really old and basically, you know, looked at as, you know, the creme de la creme of an antique, you know, it's a part of, you know, being a part of that is kind of fulfilling because you were the one that found that item. You were the one that was, you know, able to purchase that item and resell that item. The same thing, you know, that's the same thing that he misses. He misses being a part of the vintage toy community. He misses going to garage sales and all that good stuff like I already said. So we talked a lot about that, right? And the one thing that kind of, you know, sank into me, and the whole reason that, you know, it made me want to make this video is because I bet you there is so many resellers out there that kind of took a detour from what they really got into reselling for. So like, for example, you know, if you got into reselling because you loved buying and selling items and you liked going to thrift stores and you liked going to antique stores and estate sales and garage sales, but you switched it up because you thought that the best way to resell or the most profitable way to resell was to do drop shipping. So let's say, you know, after a year of being a reseller, you went and you started drop shipping because numerous other people on social media and YouTube and things told you that was the future. That was the way that you should take your business if you're trying to make money and all that good stuff, right? And that's one thing that I find a lot of people falling into is because, you know, people preach about this life of wealth and this life of, you know, all this money and women and cars and houses, and this is the way that you do that. And it kind of, you know, it makes people change directions without even knowing that they're doing it, you know, that they're doing it really. Like, they do it because they look at this person that's, you know, driving a Lamborghini, or they watch this video of this guy who's telling them that drop shipping is the new thing, or Amazon FBA is the new thing, or, you know, buying wholesale is the new thing. And then a year or two later, you're just like the guy Jeff that I'm talking about. You're sitting in a warehouse. Yes, you're making money, but you're not happy. You're not successful because you're just not happy. You're not enjoying life. He told me that, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it started to feel like his corporate job. He started to wake up every morning and just hate going into work because it was the same thing every day. He says, his schedule is identical every single day, Monday through Friday. He doesn't do anything like outside of the box. He doesn't go to garage sales no more because he doesn't have the time. He just is stuck because now he has this business that, yes, it's making money. It's, it's successful in the sense of, yeah, he's making a profit. He's able to pay his bills. He's able to, cover all of his overhead. He's able to pay his employees. He's able to pay himself, his wife. But that is not the secret to success. That's the thing that I am a firm believer of. And I think most people that get into the reselling business, we do it because we love it. We do it because we enjoy it. We do it because not only is it successful, but it's something that we have a passion in. You don't get into the art scene and become a painter because you want to get rich. You become a painter and an artist because that's what you love to do. And you figure out a way to make money from your artwork to support what it is that you love. And I think that is something that's really lost in the reselling community. I think that so many people try to grow and expand their business to something that might be bigger. He had a smaller business, but Jeff grew his business and rented a warehouse and started buying pallets full of stuff, and he started selling more items, and he got away from used items into new items, and all of that stuff sounds good, but in reality, he's not happy. And that's something that I am a firm believer on. I can't say it enough. Happiness and success goes hand in hand. If you don't have both of them, then you're not successful, and you're definitely not happy. So many resellers step outside of the bubble that they created just to put themselves in another bubble that they hate. And it's a huge problem, and I think a lot of resellers, they don't understand it until they get there. On the trip to where Jeff is at today, he never thought that he would hate where he's at today. The journey was a journey that he thought was the correct journey. He took the path that he took because he thought it was the correct path, not realizing that he could have, stayed right where he was at, made a few adjustments, optimized things, started to become more efficient, more organized, more knowledgeable, and he could have taken his business to the next level without changing much of anything. And that's something that I've mastered over the past 15 years. One thing me and Jeff talked about was, how much he's making, right? We didn't get into the specifics, but I'll tell you this right now. I basically told Jeff exactly what I made last year, net profit from my reselling business. And his jaw hit the floor. He thought that I was lying. He said, man, there's no way that you made that much by yourself from your home, buying and selling used items on eBay, Amazon, and Etsy. And I told him, yes, it is, God honest truth, and I find that, when I tell people how much I make in reselling, most people honestly can't believe it. Because those kinds of numbers to most they just don't seem achievable. But it is. If you're smart, if you have the knowledge, if you take the time to learn what to buy, what not to buy, how to buy, that's a big key in this business, is how to buy stuff. I go to garage sales, I go to estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, I do estate liquidations, estate buyouts. And the reason that I do most of those things, and I don't do, pallets and I don't buy wholesale is because of the profit margins. I've learned over the years that the profit margins, when you're, sourcing the way that I source, is ridiculous. They're just extremely high. Another thing is, Jeff told me after he hired a couple of employees that things got a little easier, right? Business seemed to be a little bit less stressful. And then a few months goes by and things are becoming even more stressful because now you have to deal with employees. You have to deal with, sick days. You have to deal with, a whole another human being, right? You have to deal with all kinds of pay issues. How do you pay them? All of these things are things that you're going to have to deal with no matter what in any business, right? But the one thing that I want you to understand and one thing that I want you to take from this video is if that's the route that you really want to take and that's the person and the reseller that you're actually trying to be, if you got into reselling because you wanted to buy and sell brand new items, wholesale, you wanted to, buy pallets, and that's what you love and that's what you have a passion in, then by all means, chase your dreams, achieve your goals. But if you are a reseller that got into this business because you loved buying and selling vintage items, or you loved clothing, or you loved toys, or antiques, or collectibles, or electronics, or retro items, all of those different things, just make sure that you're making the right decisions on where your business is going, because you don't want to end up like my buddy Jeff. So basically, after me and him hung out for most of the day, we talked about so many different things, and I think he realizes that he's in a position, and he wants to get out of the position that he's in. So he actually told me that he was going to make some major changes, and he's going to resort back to what he loves to do, and he's going to try to achieve that within the next year or so. And I think that's super cool, and I think he's gonna I don't think he's gonna regret it. I think he's really going to enjoy going back to where he started and being the person that he wants to be. There's a lot of money to be made in the reselling business, and for all of you out there that are thinking about getting into wholesale or drop shipping or Amazon FBA or anything of that nature, just think about what it is that you actually love doing. What do you have a passion in? And make sure you're making the right decisions. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I just wanted to make a quick video while I was on my way home. I found it really interesting to sit down with Jeff and talk to him and just get a better understanding of who he is, where he's been, and where he's trying to go, and where he took his business. And I found it so, I don't know why, but for some reason it, I guess because I can relate, numerous times over the past 15 years, I've had to make changes within my business because I did something that, wasn't really what I wanted to do. I always find myself kind of falling for the same types of things that he fell for, which is people, saying that, oh, there's no money to be made in reselling unless you're doing drop shipping, or unless you're buying pallets from bulk.com or something like that. I just find it super ridiculous, and it's crazy. There's so many successful resellers out there that are, making bunches of money and still having a blast and enjoying life, waking up every morning, having a great time, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I am doing, and that's why I'm not taking my business somewhere that it doesn't need to be. Anyways, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for coming and watching another video. Sorry about the audio and video quality. I am filming in the car, obviously, but hopefully you can take something away from this video. Hopefully you learned something, or hopefully it just opened your eyes up to something else. So Make sure you go down and hit that thumbs up button if you like the video. I'm definitely going to have some new content coming out. I'm right now in the process of uploading a video showing you some items I picked up over the weekend. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go down and subscribe. Hopefully, most of you that are watching are already subscribed to the channel. Until next time, folks, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching. Peace.